Another scrap video. This is a bunch of stuff that was thrown together at one point, and I'm just going to throw it in a video. Note to self style. Also, I should point out, most of the videos I'm uploading on YouTube are not being mirrored on BitChute because YouTube is blocking that. So I'm going to have to either manually upload them, and BitChute is designed to make it to where you're discouraged from uploading, or find some other source of a place to upload to. I got to point out something here. The simple process, if you're trying to compete with somebody, is to do everything they do that worked and none of the shit they didn't do that worked. Just don't. Anything they did that didn't work, don't do it. And if I was advising someone, I'd ask them, why are you avoiding doing a simple uploader? And of course, well, that's just crazy enough to work by not letting it work. Why the fuck would you do that? And then they announce, oh, we're going to do a mass uploader and make it easy for you to mirror your channel. And then they don't. So here's the rules for that. I'm just going to spit this out. Dear Full 30, don't offer to let people set up channels and then refuse to let them do it. Or be silent on it. That's what we got from Google when they would flag our videos. You know, when they were fucking us over. That just says to me that you're going to do the same thing. If you do the same thing your competitor does that sucks, no one's going to want to work with you. I guess that's on purpose. This text file is called No-Nos. So here we go. And it's concerning weapons usage, and I'm going to throw a bunch of stuff in here until the video's over with. This will act as a placeholder, and I can get it off my hard drive. And yeah, the video will be thrown with the text file, cumulative or coupled together, into a done pile. Clearing my inbox, getting things done, GTD. If it takes less than 5 minutes, or in this case 15 minutes of fame timing, do it. A website called Investment News crashes the browser to force compliance when you refuse to okay them shoving ads in your face. Just pointing that out. They suck. Unless persons licensed to carry a concealed handgun or authorized to possess a loaded firearm, clip, or magazine, it is unlawful for any person who possesses a firearm, clip, or magazine in or upon a public place or while in a vehicle in a public place to do so without a permit. 1 to 6 months in jail and a $500 fine. Your challenge is to find out what the hell that's referring to in what state. Any firearm, pellet gun, spring-loaded weapon, stun gun, or taser, any knife having a blade that projects or swings into position by force of a spring or by centrifugal force. What about centripetal? Any knife with a blade longer than 3.5 inches, any dirk, dagger, ice pick, slingshot, slungshot, metal knuckles, nunchuka, studded hand coverings. So you don't like Judas Priest, do you? Swords, straight razors, tear gas containers. Guess the tear gas is okay because we use it for making chili. Saps, sap gloves, hatchets, axes. Illegal. A guy named Aaron Potter had a realistic-looking replica firearm that was determined to be a pellet gun. After he was transported to an area hospital with multiple gunshot wounds, he was treated and logged into the Multnomah County Detention Center. After securing the handgun, officials determined what it was. He pled guilty in Multnomah County Circuit Court to 2 counts of attempted second-degree robbery and 2 counts of menacing. A Multnomah County jury found that the officers involved were justified in the shooting. But it was just a pellet gun. Another one I'm going to bring in here, just more stuff. This guy was arrested for burning a rainbow flag. No. He was jailed for the 3rd time trying to burn someone's bar down or other locations because he's a serial arsonist. And this time he happened to use a pride flag because he randomly grabbed one and used that because it was made of plastic and would burn. So the decision was, very ironically, but not really ironic, sorry, not sorry. We're also going to charge him with a hate crime so we can multiply it out because it was the 3rd strike for the fucker. But it's about the pride flag. No, it's because he's trying to burn down a building. And he'd done that before. See also a guy who got arrested for, at one time, having a specific type of shotgun. And then later on was involved in using a shotgun that's suspiciously identical to it. Because it was the same fucking gun. They took his gun away from him and then he got an identical one or got it back. Guilty of some sort of criminal mischief and bad behavior. Just saying. Well, we're tough on crime unless we can use it for political motivations by omitting something. I'll include the notes for that. That just popped into my head because I was reading about this. Yeah, someone got arrested for a spring-loaded pellet gun because he was committing a robbery with it and they didn't know it was a spring-loaded pellet gun. Another case was... well, here we go. A rifle seized yesterday was not a pellet gun, as originally released. Eben David Eubanks had a guitar on his roof and was firing a BB gun, not a pellet gun, at fixed objects on his rooftop, not at or towards a street fair or any other persons. In violation of Portland City Code, if you arrest me for armed mass murder, and it turns out I was cooking chicken, and your parting shot, literally, is to convict me of using a barbecue without a cook's license, we'll just bust you down to this. Fuck you. I want an exoneration. You arrested me for shit that I didn't do. He was shooting a pellet gun on his roof at some random object. They get confused between him and Aaron Potter. Somehow. Because both of them involved, well, replica firearm. No, it was literally a BB gun. Anyway, it was a violation of Portland City Code. He was booked into county jail on 3 counts of discharging firearms. It's a fucking BB gun, you cunts. In the city. He was fined $500 and released after he pled no contest to a single violation of the city code instead of the other two. Well, every time he fired, it's a violation. No, he fired it. He was on his rooftop. You're not allowed to fire on your rooftop because you're a renter. It'll actually be part of the rental agreement that you're not allowed to use the grounds without permission that way. However, if he got permission from the landowner, yes, you can have a BB gun shooting area on top of the roof as long as you aim it at a backstop of the, let's say, a high roof section. Okay. That's it. No pellet guns, but BB guns are allowed. There's a bar in Portland that they shot BB guns at, and the city pulled this shit. That's actually where it comes from. It's a firearm. It's a BB gun, it's not a firearm. Guilty of firearm. They secured the handgun. Handgun? No, it was a rifle. No, it wasn't a rifle. It was a BB gun. $500 for plinking bottles or cardboard box. He was shooting at a cardboard box, by the way. Just wanted to point out the no-no file. So let's see what else I can get into trouble with. Now, I'm going to bring up something a little weird because I can. Mostly because I feel like doing so. At one time, until JFK shooting, you could buy a real gun. Mail order. You can still do it over the internet effectively. And there was something called a safety gun. They even featured children in the advertisements for it, showing a child playing with a pistol, a revolver. It had a significant trigger pull requirement. You had to know where the safety was. And it had a new feature where even if the hammer dropped, it couldn't possibly set it off because the firing pin was not integrated in it. And it would slide a piece of metal up there that would transfer the impact of the hammer to the firing pin. It was a fail safe rather than fail deadly mode. Instead of blocking the hammer with your safety, which could fail, or blocking the trigger. This made it impossible for the thing to fire by accident by being dropped. It was one of the first drop-safe guns. The one that's referred to as an Ivor Johnson Arms Model 3 safety pistol. And the funny thing about it is the ads have a peculiarity in them in that they show you almost the entire mechanism for making a double action trigger that's safe. The patent for it's the same way, and the joke is hammer the hammer. You could literally, they showed, there was, I couldn't find the film anymore, but there was a film that was put out demonstrating, actually announcing it. It's a gun you can't make go off. It showed someone beating the back of the gun with a hammer until it broke, and it still didn't fire any of the bullets. It couldn't. It would literally not let you do it. It even show a cross-section of it. The firing pin was embedded deep enough that mechanically you couldn't hit it. And they reinforced that part to the point that the hammer would break before the gun would go off. And it was considered safe enough that if a child found it, this is because a shooting had happened at one time. This is an old product. That some kid actually hurt themselves with a gun. They started marketing this as safe-er. And showed children trying to figure out how to set it off, because unless they could pull the trigger back, a small child couldn't do it. If you were capable of pulling the trigger back, it could go off. It's considered a decent self-defense weapon because you wouldn't have an accident like that. Rifles were more dangerous. It's like the joke about 22s. Yeah, you can kill someone unintentionally easier than you can on purpose, because your ability to aim a 22 at 500 yards or whatever may be much more limited than how far the bullet will go and kill. Practical limitations. One of the reasons the AR-15 was created, because it was impractical at the distance it could kill at, and it was a waste of material and performance if you couldn't fire that far. You had to use a scope. They wanted an iron sights gun. But anyway, let's move on. That's really all of it. I do have another thing here. Yeah, I was going to do it, and I already did that one. I had a video a long time ago on how to fix random pieces of software, defects they came with. Thunderbird came with sponsored ads, so you had to get rid of that. Oh, don't you want to use this, email address? No, nobody wants to do that. Well, I'm going to keep asking. A word about antagonizing users. Why? Every company I know of goes out of their way to make a negative experience for a customer and to kill it in the market. Instead of, I'm not kidding about this, instead of just fucking with people and getting a reaction out of them and then gauging the reaction and seeing what you can gain from it and how you can manipulate them, if a company absolutely never did this, if people tell you stop sending me stuff in the mail and you stopped, I think it would literally make people drop dead from shock that you weren't trying your damnedest to be a pain in the ass to people who pay you money. But enough about Google and every other source of information we have. Now, I wanted to see what this was. Oh, yeah. These are scrap files. I probably wasted your time enough. This was the no-no file, along with a few others. They're just in the inbox. I got a few minutes left, so I'm going to look through the directory of stuff that I was going to do. Look at the latest ones. A bunch of information about stuff that I'm no longer interested in. Not really, anyway. I make a large bunch of notes to self, to-do files, and that sort of thing. But after a specific period of time, usually it's a week, you're supposed to kill these things off. I have to-do files that are a year old that I haven't covered. And unless they have something particularly interesting to me, I'm going to be dropping them. And a large portion of this has been on specific subjects. Most of what I've done on these channels is based on people making requests. And because YouTube is suppressing me being visible, it's not some conspiracy theory, they admit it now. I'm not getting a lot of requests for information, so the videos may not show up every day. And that's okay. Nobody's really asked me for anything, and that's okay. But I do appreciate everybody's questions and answers and participation and letting me in on your lives a little bit. I appreciate it. Thanks. Have a good day. Bye.